Well, don't be a red pill victim. Chapter 11. Chapter 11, and it's good to be a man. Pastor Michael Foster talks about how to bear the weight. He says, today, the burden men must carry seems crushing. Whether you're the son of an absent father or a single mom, coddling mother, broken home, or simply you're just a man who lives in a misandric culture, meaning a culture which hates men. It's not a question of whether you failed to launch, but how much you failed to launch into your journey of manhood. A lot of men awaken to this reality only to stew on the raw deal they got. He says, MGTOW and the brotherhoods of red pill people who are in red pill rage. He says, that's not the path. That's not the path. Don't get caught up in red pill rage here. He says, that's not taking dominion as the scripture instructs us to do. The state of your life might not be entirely your fault, or maybe it's not even mostly your fault, but it is your responsibility. It's your responsibility. So take heart. God did not make an error when he wrote the book of your life and placed you in the time that you are in. He made you to take dominion here and now. And so he says, take heart. We're not the first generation to be the product of failed fathers. If you read through Judges chapter 2, you'll see that there's nothing new under the sun. We can learn from our failed fathers and start to correct them, or we can just perpetuate those failures and inflict something even worse on our own sons. Now, the thing I would say about that to Pastor Foster is it seems like we're getting so far down a failed path that nobody's even having sons and daughters anymore, which is pretty tragic. It says you can stay a victim being all rage, all red pill rage, and no action, or you can take responsibility for yourself. He says, look back and see in bad situation you've been in and failures in your life, what role did you play in those failures? Because maybe it was only 1% of it, but take responsibility for that and try to better yourself. You've got to take responsibility of yourself. So don't be a red pill victim. take dominion, take responsibility. Don't be lazy, laziness as a result of the fall. Don't be a sluggard, he talks about in the chapter. Be fruitful, have dominion, subdue. Get out there and take charge with superiority. You know, the Apostle Paul says in Thessalonians that if a man is lazy, you're to kick him out of the church. That's a capital offense in the church. Like, to think about that today, if someone is lazy, you kick them out of the church. Like, who is following that today in the modern church? Like, wow, what an instruction there. We don't really even talk about that much anymore. But Pastor Foster is saying, yeah, that's how serious this is. Two young men, and the same would go for women as well. If you're lazy, you get kicked out of the church. Now, of course, because as Joel Webben says, in our culture, we worship women. Nobody's ever kicking women out of the church for being lazy. But that is what the instruction the Apostle Paul gives there. That's pretty incredible. And so to kind of summarize the chapter, he says in the chapter, if you want to learn to be a patriarch, which of course we all want to be, that's me. If you want to learn to be a patriarch, to grow out of being a clueless bastard, you know by now that it starts by submitting yourself to the rule of your Father in heaven and not chafing against it. And his will is to take dominion, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, subdue the earth, and don't be a red pill victim. Certainly don't take the black. I'm dressed in black today. Don't take the black pill either. That's even worse, because Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the Post Millennial Man.